the Chicago Bears done making moves in free agency? What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, make sure to hit that big red subscribe button down below. Make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. And guys, as always, hit the bell icon so you're in fact notified every time I drop a new video. All right, people, listen. This free agency period has been very, very quiet for the Chicago Bears, okay? We haven't signed any big-name, big-time free agents. It's been a lot of solid but serviceable guys, right? We had your Byron Pringles of the world or your Justin Jones of the world. Guys, again, not headliners, but they'll add to the Bears, Lucas Patrick, guys like that. They'll add to the Bears, but it's not game-changing signings. So my question is, are the Bears done making moves in free agency? And let me give you two answers, short answer and long answer. Short answer is no, they're not, because there's a lot of roster spots left, and the Bears have a lot of money left, and they need to fill up those roster spots. And you cannot fill all that up through the draft. You just can't. There's only so many draft picks you have. So the other way to go is you sign players. So short answer, no, they're not done. But let's talk about the long answer, right? Because what we are concerned with is, are you going to actually sign impact players, right? It's one thing to just sign guys, but are you going to sign impact guys who are starters, who are going to be able to contribute right away, instead of guys that are going to be fine for a roster spot? And my answer to that is not really. And here's why. Ryan Poles in his press conference literally stated that, he is going to be very selective in free agency. If you go back to his press conference, he literally said, what am I about? I'm about building through the draft and being selective in free agency. So that basically tells you that he is not going to just dole out money just to dole out money and sign guys, especially, guys that will cost you a lot of money. So I have kind of accepted that Ryan Poles is going to do a lot of his work during the draft. So the needs that we have, receiver, offensive line, secondary, all of those, I believe, are going to be addressed through the draft. Now, the question always is that enough, right? You want to just surround Justin Fields with rookie receivers and guys like Byron Pringle. I know you have Darnell Mooney, but he's still a relatively young guy as well. And then your offensive line, you got a bunch of young guys as well. You want to surround Justin Fields with all young guys and no established veterans and no established talent? Like, is that really what you want to do? Well, again, it looks like Ryan Poles is headed in that direction. Now, here's the thing you have to understand. I have mentioned this before, and I don't think I'm crazy for saying this. I don't believe that Ryan Poles is 1,000% sold on Justin Fields. Again, keyword 1,000, or you want to say 100% sold on Justin Fields. And the reason I say that is because, again, this is a new regime. He did not draft him. I'm not saying he doesn't believe in him. All I'm saying is Ryan Poles is thinking, listen, if I got to make everything perfect for this kid, then, that's not going to tell me if he's the one. Now, you don't want to just surround him with nothing, right? You got to fill this closet up. It can't just be, barren. But I don't think he wants to give Justin Fields all the talent in the world and the perfect roster right away. We have a lot of money in 2023. I believe he'll do that. But he wants to see this season if Justin Fields is that guy. And say what you want about Justin Fields and all the potential in the world that he has. He did not prove it last season that he is the guy moving forward. He still has to prove that. And so I believe Ryan Poles is just saying, listen, I'm going to let Justin prove it himself. It's not the approach I would take if I was the GM. I would go ahead and surround Justin Fields with all the talent in the world just to make sure I know that he's the guy. Because, again, if he doesn't succeed, you cannot say, hey, I didn't surround him and do the absolute best to surround him with talent. But it looks like that's the approach that Ryan Poles is taking, is he's not going to sign a lot of big names and big established talent for Justin Fields. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he will. We still have free agents out there, especially along the offensive line. But for the most part, all the top guys are off the board, right? Where a handful of days in free agency, all the top guys are off the board. So now you're left with, not a lot of the great players out there in free agency. And so I believe Ryan Poles is not 100% sold on Justin Fields. And I'm not saying I blame him completely for that, because, again, Fields still needs to prove himself. And so he is thinking, let Justin Fields go out there and, prove himself And once he does, I'll go ahead and surround him with talent. Remember, talent shines. Okay? Talent shines through bad situations. Deshaun Watson's the example I always use in Houston. They were an absolute mess. It was an absolute trash roster with a bad coach, and he shined. You can see the talent. So, again, not the approach that I probably would have taken. I probably would try to surround Justin Fields with all the talent in the world. And don't tell me that there wasn't deals out there. I know Christian Kirk got a fat contract, so skip that. But you could have easily gotten DJ Chark for 1 year, $10 million. You could have easily gotten Juju Smith-Schuster. Well, actually, I didn't even want, but you could have gotten him for 1 year, $10 million. His base salary was $3 million, and $7 million of that was incentive. So don't tell me you couldn't get receivers out there, established receivers for Fields because of money, because you could have. It's Ryan Poles being selective, like he is mentioned. So again, I believe that's the move. So short answer, no, they're not done. But long answer, it's not going to be any big names. Ryan Poles does not seem to be that type of GM. He is the anti-Ryan Pace, in where he is going to be selective and not aggressive. And he's going to be careful where he spends money, and he's going to be building more through the draft than he is free agency. Okay, so that's where I'm at, folks. Let me know what you guys think about this approach. Agree, disagree, leave a comment down below. As always, thanks for watching.